Now we will start with the image that I could not get to work the other last week, and I'll show you why. Okay, here's the way I shot it. The plane is sitting on the ground, and I wanted it to look as though it was up in the air, flying. And so the final image is the one next to it on the left with the props turning and the sky in there. And last week I could not make that work. Well, now I know why. So here's the answer. Let me walk it through and we'll see how this goes. The first thing I want to do is select the background, the light areas and everything that I don't want. I want to put a sky in. The problem was I had eliminated all of that light area and selected all of that, which I'm going to do now. But if I try to spin the propellers when there are no pixels around it, it can't do it. I'll explain that again even more, but let me do it and then I'll give you the details. So all I want to do now is select everything where I want to put the clouds. So I'm just making a selection, the bottom of the plane, across that. And one of these weeks I keep promising this, I will show you more about making selections and what's involved with them and how to refine them more. But for today, I'll just keep going with what I have here. I click to let somebody in. There we go. So now I have every place that I want to put the clouds. I made a selection. Now I get my clouds, and any clouds will work, and select all, saying select all the pixels for me, please. Edit, copy. Then I don't need the cloud image anymore. It puts it into a buffer. Now when I want to put it in where I've made the selection, you go to Edit, Paste Special, Paste Into, and it puts the sky in where I had made the selection. And if you look over in the Layers palette, we talked about the mask that gets on there. It builds a mask automatically from the selection. So anything black is blocked off on that layer, which means you can't see the clouds where there's black. You can only see the clouds where there's white, because that was automatically created when I pasted the clouds in. Now that I have this, I was trying to turn off that cloud layer and make the selection of the props, but there isn't anything really there to select. So what I realized is I need to flatten the image first. So I went up to Layers, down at the bottom, Flatten Image. Now I have the image with the sky. Then I can go up to excuse me, second tool down on the toolbar is the elliptical marquee. I can get that and make an ellipse that will cover this prop. And I can use the arrow keys to move it a little bit to the left and move it to the top to make sure I have everything in that I want. And that may not even be big enough. So I will remove that one and make a little bigger one, so that I'm sure that I get the propellers. Now I have that. And I go up to Filter, Blur, Radial Blur. And I don't want zoom, I want spin. So when I have the spin, and maybe not make it that much, come back a little bit, click OK. And that's way too much, way too much. Also, before I do this, I really should make a copy of the background. So let me back up a little bit here. Make a copy by grabbing the background copy down to the second from the right at the bottom of the Layers palette. So now I have an upper one, and I want to change the props of this upper one. And I'll explain why that I want that extra copy in a minute. So I will move this over so that I'm selecting just the props. And I hit the wrong key and it got rid of it. Okay. Filter, blur, radial blur, and tone it down quite a bit, all the way down. I think somewhere around 19 is where I had it the time that it worked so well. And I want to put the center right about where the main part of the prop is located on the plane, right there. Now say okay. Now I get a spin. And that's even a little too much. So I'll go back one step in my history, come back up to filter, blur, radial blur, and drop it down a little bit more. And it really is just a matter of taste of how much spin you want. That looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'll get rid of the dancing ants, select, deselect, and I want to do the other prop also. So I will make around it. And you realize that part of the plane is being blurred also. I'll address that in a minute, but I want to get this other prop, filter, blur, radial blur, and place that point right about there. So now I have that one spinning also. Get rid of the dancing ants, select, deselect. Now, because I've made a copy, I can put a background copy, I can put a mask on that layer, make sure that black is in the bottom at first, foreground color at the bottom of my toolbar, get the paintbrush, make sure that it's on normal at 100%. And now when I paint on the mask, I'm hiding the spin and allowing the image below to show through. So there you go. It worked. That's how you do it.
Hey, John,
Yes.
is there a way to move the people that are in the course here are on the right side of my screen and it hides your palettes?
Ah,
Can they be moved?
grab that from the top. You can move that anywhere you want. You can move it down. I've grabbed it.
Oh, you don't have to do it then.
No, I can't do it on your screen. I have it on mine.
You want to minimize it. See the three.
Yes, you can even minimize it. Yes.
How do you do
Minimize
that?
it and then just drag it down.
I see. I'm moving it to the other. Okay, I got you. You can drag it to the other side. That's fine. Thank you very much.
You got it?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Now, you think you can do this?
Yes.
Did you understand the steps?
John,
Yes.
it looked like when you were choosing where the spin was going to happen, it looked like that the left-hand propeller is on the left-hand side of the image, but when you chose where you wanted the spin to happen, it looked like you chose the middle of the image.
Where I wanted this to spin from was the hub of the propeller. See where my
Yeah,
brush is now?
I
So
see.
that's why I moved the point there. Watch, I'll show you. I come down to blur, radial blur. This little point there, I wanted it to be about where this hub is located so that it's spinning around that hub. Do you follow?
So, well, it looks like it's to the right of the image.
Right.
The propeller in the back on the right.
Oh, you're talking about the one in the back? I did
No.
that separately.
No, I'm talking about the one in the front. It just looks
Okay.
like your little picture is going to be zooming in on the right side, not the left side. Well, never mind. I'll figure it out.
Okay, got it.